Okay, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week, and we are now just not even a day and a half away from the big one. And I know I've said this a couple times this year already, but I think that with the knowledge that we now have, we can call this the most important game of the year for the Seahawks so far. The first Rams game was big. The second Rams game was big. This game, we're playing for the division title. We're playing for the 1 seed. Hard to have a bigger regular season game than this. Going to San Fran, playing the 49ers, doesn't get better than this. So let's talk about this game a little bit. Let's talk about what the Seahawks need to do. Let's talk about what they're going to see from San Francisco a little bit. Let's try to understand what the 49ers are going to do and how the Seahawks can counter it if they want to win. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going. So check out Sleeper today and use those promos. So this is obviously a rematch of week 1. That game feels like it was an eternity ago. Seattle, San Francisco. In Seattle, San Francisco comes out on top. Very dramatic game. Not a super entertaining game necessarily. Neither offense did a lot, but 17-13 San Francisco, that is what Seattle needs to avenge. And if they can win this game, you will definitely say they got the last laugh, right? I mean, if they can take the division and the number 1 seed in this game, then that is definitely worth more than a week 1 win. So there's a lot on the line here. And when I think about this game, the main thing that I think about, the first thing that comes to my mind, this is what Mike Macdonald, by and large, was brought in to do. He was brought in to do a lot, but this game is why he's here. There was a time early in early in Kyle Shanahan's coaching career, his head coaching career in San Francisco, where Pete Carroll, the last Seahawks head coach, seemed to kind of understand how to counter what Shanahan did. There seemed to be an understanding of what to do to limit that 49ers offense. And for as much as Pete Carroll could not figure out how to stop McVay reliably, there was a few years there where it felt like he understood how to slow down Shanahan. But in the final few years, that got away from him. And really, especially the last 2 seasons after Russell Wilson left, Carroll kind of seemed like he was coming and going when going against Shanahan. So you look at things like that. You look at the Thanksgiving Day game Seattle played against San Francisco in 2023. You look at some of the games they played each other 3 times in 2022. And it just felt like Carroll didn't have it anymore. He never really had it against McVay. And those are 2 of your 3 division rivals. So at that point, what do you really have? What can you really do? You got to go get something else. Enter Mike Macdonald, and one of his big statement games as defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens was from 2023, near the end of the year. Brock Purdy building an MVP resume. They host the Baltimore Ravens in a big game at the end of the year, and Mike Macdonald tears Brock Purdy and the Kyle Shanahan offense to shreds. Purdy had 4 interceptions. I think the offense as a whole had 5 turnovers or something like that. They couldn't really move the ball very well. They couldn't score. Ravens win in a blowout. And I got to believe a big part of the reason why you brought in Mike Macdonald when you fired Pete Carroll a couple of off seasons ago is that you looked at that game. You looked at what he did to that Shanahan offense and you were like, that is the kind of thing that we want. That is one of the big reasons why we're moving off Pete. And this is one of the big reasons why we want a new coach. We want the coach that can do that to the opposing team. We want the coach that understands how to stop this Shanahan offense. And Macdonald has a lot of respect for the Shanahan offense. Clearly, he hired a Shanahan guy as his offensive coordinator this year, or he participated in the decision to hire Clint Kubiak. But you look at his career so far, it seems like he does have a pretty good understanding of how to slow them down. That game with the Ravens against the Niners, where Macdonald ripped him apart, that's not the only one. You can go back to last year, the second game, the game we played in San Francisco. San Fran's offense really didn't do that much in that game. Seattle's defense won that battle, and it was enough for them to eventually win the game. Earlier this year, yeah, San Francisco had special teams problems that took some points off the board, but even if you move beyond that, the Seattle defense did very well in that game, and if the offense had given them any real support, you'd probably be looking back at that game as kind of like a blueprint of what Macdonald can do. Instead, because we lost the game because of one really ugly, or really 2 or 3 ugly plays at the end, people kind of forget how good the Seattle defense was in that game. But there is a formula here, and a lot of these teams, they show they don't really have what it takes to get rid of it. These last 3 games San Francisco has played, they have averaged over 40 points per bout. Over 40 points a game for a 3-game period. That's pretty unconscious. That's not supposed to be something that you see in the NFL. That's like a college football thing. And there are times watching this San Francisco offense, it feels like they found a cheese tactic that nobody understands how to stop. It feels like they figured something out that no one else can solve. And until someone solves it, they're just going to score 40 points a game forever. But bringing it back to reality, we know that Macdonald can do it. The 49ers offense 2 years ago that he stopped really well in that game that I'm talking about, and when he was in Baltimore, that offense probably had more talent than this offense, especially because CMC and Kittle and Trent Williams, these guys are not 100%. In some cases, they might not even play. So there is every bit of the formula that Mike Macdonald was able to solve in 2023 and 2024, and to a certain extent, 2025. So this is why he's here. Simulated pressure. Force Brock Purdy to think about things in the pocket. Force Brock Purdy to think about things post-snap. Force him to have to make throws in situations where the receiver is not exactly where Purdy expects him to be, exactly when he expects him to be there. Throw the receivers off by pressing them at the line of scrimmage. Send some creative pressures, not necessarily blitzes. I'm not asking for blitzes. Send guys that Purdy is not expecting to be sent, and that's how you get to them. Purdy's not somebody that's going to be throwing a lot of deep balls. Purdy is not somebody that's going to be going over the top of your defense a lot. Not a very strong arm. We all know the book on Purdy. He's got a weak arm by NFL quarterback standards. He is a guy who will pick his way down the field with checkdowns, quick passes, short stuff, intermediate a little bit. He's hit a lot of intermediate slant passes the last couple of weeks. You got to be willing to punish it a little bit. You got to be willing to take a look at the game plan that the Niners roll out and say, we're going to give you the stuff down the field. We're going to give you opportunities to hit big plays. Take them if you dare, but we are going to try to take away the intermediate and short stuff. We're going to make you try to do stuff down the field. And we're not going to blitz a lot, but we are going to send exotic pressures. There are going to be plays where maybe we send Nicky Manwari, but then maybe Leonard Williams drops back into coverage. We're going to send Ernest Jones, but maybe Jaron Reed drops back into coverage. Throw him off. These things work. It's been proven. We've seen it time and time again. There is a way to stymie this Niners offense. You've ruined their timing. Right now, Brock Purdy drops back, hits his back foot, and he knows exactly where everybody on both teams is going to be and exactly when they're going to be there. If you take that away from him, he's not the same guy. Now, there is escapability, of course. He is somebody that is able to evade pressure very well. He's somebody that can buy time. He's actually one of the league leaders in time to throw so far this season. So that is a big, big part of his game. I'm not here to take anything away from him there. But I do believe that if you stay away from the big blitz, like don't do what you tried to do to Stafford. To me, that would be the big mistake here. Do not do what you tried to do to Stafford, where you just send the house at him. Didn't work against Stafford. I don't think it'll work against Purdy either. Creative pressures, creativity, not just I'm going to send a ton of guys and hope they get home. Purdy can beat that, especially with his mobility. Send 4 guys. Maybe every now and then you can send a 5th, but be careful. And if he beats you down the field, if he hits big plays down the field, good for him. But Kittle's not going to be 100% even if he does play. Trent Williams is out. Christian McCaffrey, we know he's playing, but he's not 100%. They don't have Ayuk. They never had Ayuk this year. Their receivers are decent, but other than Jawan Jennings, there's nothing particularly stand out there. Talent-wise, this is an offense that can be had. Play the right way. Play the way Macdonald knows how to play. You'll be okay. So that's the main thing. But there's the other side of the ball as well. You've got an offense that has people worried. They've been turning it over too much. They're not good in the first half. They're not explosive through their passing attack as they used to be. They're missing some stuff. This 49ers defense right now is one of the worst defenses you're going to get to play right now. They have allowed over 30 points a game over their last 3 games, and they've played teams like the Titans. They played, of course, the Bears. The Bears have a good offense, right? But they're not so good that they should be scoring 38 points, which is what they did on Sunday. And there was also the Colts with Phillip Rivers. These are not hyper elite offenses, but the Niners, their defense is thin. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa. They've got some question marks in that secondary. Don't know if they're going to have Upton Stout. Javarius Ward is long gone. He's in Indianapolis, obviously. It's not entirely clear if they're going to have a guy like Keon White, who they really do need right now, if we're being perfectly honest, because they're so thin. They have no beef up front. Their run defense has become, I would say, one of the worst in the league. We've seen the Titans and the Bears run on them successfully, and they don't get any pressure. They might have the worst pass rush in football right now. They get by on high effort. They get by on Robert Saleh being a very good defensive coordinator. They get by on having a decent secondary, and I don't think there's really too much else here. They've got one decent pass rusher in Bryce Huff, and that feels like it's about it. They're thin at linebacker. They've been incredibly beat up at linebacker. I think Nick Martin is now out for them as well, and they're so small up front. You should be able to run on them, and that's the number one thing that I'm thinking about in this game. Like, people are talking about Sam Darnold. Darnold has to beat this narrative. Darnold has to beat the allegations, and sure he does. But I'm looking at this Niners team and thinking, I think we can run on them. We've run the ball successfully the last 2 games against the Rams and the Panthers. That Niners defense right now is not showing me they're that much better against the run than either of those teams. So if you want to prove that your run improvements over the last couple of games are a product of you and not just a product of the opponent, then go out there and run the ball on these Niners. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. They don't have that big run stuffer in the middle. They don't have their all-pro linebacker. They have a very lightweight front. They play that wide 9. You can run on them, run it up the gut, Charbonnet, Ken Walker, whoever it is, everybody do your job. Now, I don't know about the passing attack. It is nice to have Shaheed back, right? But Seattle's still a little bit thin at pass catcher. San Francisco did get Renardo Green back, so their secondary is going to be in decent shape, even if I don't think they'll have Upton Stout. But Charles Cross out, and we've also got Josh Jones. I think he will play. Even if he does play, what will he be able to do in his state of health? Probably not a lot. So realistically, I think you're looking at a scenario where the passing attack might be a little bit hampered. And the other element at play here is there's going to be rain, supposedly. There is rain expected in the forecast. So if you want to talk about a game that is designed for you to run the ball, it is this one. But Darnold is going to have to make a throw or two eventually, and when he does, I hope he can make it. This game is a great opportunity for a Cooper Kupp. This game is a great opportunity for a Rashid Shaheed. Those guys can prove their value to this team. And I believe that A.J. Barner might be in for a big game as well. If you're Sam Darnold, show me that you can be the guy that just takes the easy throw over and over and over again until you're in the end zone, just like Brock Purdy does, just like Mac Jones does when he plays for that San Fran team. And I think that you can get it done. And look, everything I just said, with everything that I just said, I am still very aware of the possibility that this game ends up being something of a shootout. San Fran's offense is boiling hot right now. Rain and a really good defense and all the things that I just went over, it's not necessarily going to be enough to keep San Francisco from scoring a lot. So if this game turns into a little bit of a shootout and Darnold has to do a little bit more against this pass rush, this anemic pass rush that doesn't really have anybody that reliably wins one-on-one, I think he can do it. And if we have to call on him to do it, then it's an opportunity for him to come through where he has previously not, and sometimes previously had. But I'm hoping we don't get to that point, guys. I'm hoping that we can win this game controlling the game, run the ball, play defense, and show me the kind of team that you're going to be and need to be going into the postseason. And beyond all that, look, San Fran has turnover problems this year. They've actually turned it over more than average, especially when Purdy's playing in the game. So get some turnovers. Win the turnover battle. You did in the first week one, so do it again. And odds are good things will go your way. Special teams, San Francisco, low-key, has one of the best special teams units in the league. Seattle is number 1, but according to EPA, I believe San Francisco is number 2. So you're not necessarily going to carve out a big advantage there. So understand that you're probably not going to win this game on the back of a kickoff return or a punt return like you did against the Rams, because the Rams don't have good special teams. So it's going to have to be something else. It's going to have to be you earning it on the back of what I believe to be a superior roster. You have a superior roster. The other team seems like they're in more of a groove right now, but that's just on one side of the ball. Like the Niners, they seem like they're in this really good comfort zone right now, but that's all their offense. Their defense, really not doing that much. So go out there and put up some points in that first half. Make Seahawks fans comfortable with the first half offense. It should not be that hard. This Niners defense has too many holes, too many gaps, too many injuries. You should be able to get it done. So with all that being said, I'm going to go with Seattle 30, San Francisco 23. I'm feeling pretty good. I like the matchup. I think this is a game we should win. I think that this is a game where we should be able to take advantage of what looks like bad weather. I think this is a game where things are playing out our way. And I'm going to go so far as to say this. If the Seahawks do not win this game, if they play out a relatively normal-looking game and the Seahawks do not win, and, well, implied in that, but let's just say they lose, it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call for me. I'm not going to say that I'm going to give up and say that we're not going anywhere in the playoffs. But if you cannot beat this San Francisco team with all the injuries they have and with all the limitations they have right now, that will tell me that the team is probably still a year away from getting to the top of the mountain. Again, Kittle, not himself. McCaffrey, not himself. Trent Williams, almost certainly out. No Bosa, no Warner. At a certain point, if you have a better roster, you need to go out there and prove it. Okay, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Thank you for watching. Give me a like on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll post at least one more video later today, probably about nothing to do with this game, but maybe I'll post another. And we're almost there, guys. All that hard work. I'm not going to say all of it comes down to this game, but a lot of it does. And I just hope the team's ready. Okay. Let's go get it. Week 18, playing for everything, Saturday night. Can't ask for much more. Go Hawks.